There's not many things in hip-hop more common than a bunch of hip-hop fans sitting with a bunch of hip-hop fans yelling over each other about who the top 5 rappers of all time are. Now you got your old heads who believe you can never replace Rakim and KRS-One, and you got your casual fans who are also old heads who believe there's only 2 words in this conversation, Tupac and Biggie. Then you got your younger fans from my generation who believe that somebody like Jigga or Nas or Kendrick and J. Cole belong in this conversation no matter what. Now to me it doesn't really matter. There's no right or wrong, there's no left or right, there's only what you believe. But I do believe that there's a list that we never talk about. Maybe you call it the 6 through 10, or the top 5 rappers that are never your top 5 rappers, but should at least be considered when you talk about the top 5 rappers. The first person on my list, which is in no order, is Mr. Break Your Neck Woo-Ha himself, Busta Rhymes. Throughout Busta's whole entire career, he's never failed to remain relevant somehow. Busta Rhymes has got the hardest flow. And when I say hardest flow, I don't just mean like tough and gritty. I mean he's really got one of the most difficult flows in the history of hip-hop.
Every time I come a nigga gotta set it, then I gotta go, and then I gotta get it, then I gotta blow, and then I gotta shut it. Any little thing a nigga think that he be doing, cause it doesn't matter, cause I'm gonna dead it.
I believe that maybe the reason Busta Rhymes is not in anybody's top 5 is because he doesn't have some kind of classic album that makes him stand out from the rest of the industry. But nonetheless, Busta Rhymes is probably capable of rapping better than your top 5 rappers. The next on my list of who's never considered for the top 5 but should be considered for the top 5 is very similar to Busta Rhymes. He's got a gang of flows and a gang of characters that he's juggled throughout his whole career. It's a man from Atlanta by the name of Ludacris. Now to me, Ludacris actually did put out a few classic albums. Word of Mouth is a favorite of mine, Chicken and Beer, and even the Red Light District is pretty dope. You've seen him on some of the biggest hit songs as a feature, and even though he doesn't have super intricate metaphors and similes, you can't deny that it's hard to rap like Luda. To me, he should at least be considered for your top 5.
Couple girlfriends and they all a little crazy, coming down the street like a parade. Macy.
Another MC that reminds me a lot of Ludacris, and a lot of people in the barbershops are gonna get mad at me when I mention this one, is Nicki Minaj, who is also very deserving enough to at least be in the conversation for top 5. As of now, she hasn't missed in my opinion. She shares the same qualities that make Luda and Busta so special, because she too is one of the most idiosyncratic characters hip-hop has ever seen. She is not only one of the best female rappers of all time, but bar for bar when it comes to creative delivery, she tops the majority of men who've taken a stab at this rap game.
Ain't being cocky, we just vindicated. Best believe that when we done this moment, we'll be syndicated. I don't know, this night just remind me of everything they deprived me of.
Now the next person on my list of rappers that should be considered for the top 5 rappers but are never considered for the top 5 rappers is a guy who is kind of self-explanatory why he's never on a list. He doesn't exactly want to be on anybody's list, let alone the CIA, the FBI, or the NYPD list. I'm talking about New York's very own Immortal Technique.
So I refuse to pledge allegiance like Jehovah's Witnesses. Take a shot and eat off that shit like photosynthesis. You niggas don't understand the world that I come from, but you understand the casualty of war when you become one.
Immortal Technique is one of the most celebrated quote-unquote underground rappers of all time. You see, he's got skills that not a lot of rappers in rap history have. Much like Chuck D, who came before him, Immortal Technique has found a way to take a complicated bar and complex vocabulary and put them together in his songs without compromising the message. He's never been afraid to confront hip-hop and tell everybody to get their act together, nor has he ever compromised who he was for the popular opinion. In my opinion, Immortal Technique should at least be considered in your top 5. Now the last person on my list, who ironically in my opinion is the most deserving, is one of those MCs who's probably on your top 5 favorite MCs, top 5 favorite MC list. It's an artist by the name of Black Thought by the legendary Roots crew. If you don't know who he is, you've been sleeping for far too long. Black Thought is like a brain surgeon when it comes to rapping. Every single line he spits out, he seeks nothing but perfection. Every punchline, every simile, everything in the verse makes you have to go back and listen to it again and again so you don't miss anything.
My journey from a dirty hallway to the Hall of Fame. Music, my therapeutic way to deal with all this pain. I was headed for the drain, soaking before the rainwater came. In chaos, that's when the order came.
Black Thought is part of the Roots. It's like a 50-man band, and they've been taking elements from outside of hip-hop for years. Much like what Kendrick did on To Pimp a Butterfly, they've been doing it since the 90s. Whenever you hear the man rap, it's like you can hear him listening for the right thing to say and the right way to say it. And every time he swings, he doesn't miss. Now, Black Thought is my personal favorite rapper of all time, so it crushes me to know that he's not on the list that he deserves to be on. The top 5 rappers of all time. Now that's who I feel is the top 5 rappers that should be in the conversation for top 5 rappers, but are never in the conversation for top 5 rappers. Now I know I left a bunch of people out like Cassidy, Currency, Big L, Big Pun, DJ Quick. I know there's a bunch of people that deserve to be on this list but are never talked about. If you feel like I left somebody out important, let me know in the comment section below. And while you're at it, subscribe to All Def Music today. For All Def Music, I'm Jay Taj.